Hello, hello. Welcome to where it's -6 below today. Anchorage, Alaska is where I am hailing from and talking to you from today. I can't help but think about our society. It's been a reoccurring theme for me. I'm not sure if it's because of end of year, closing out the end of 2025 and heading into a new year and desiring a new life. But the whole idea of working my entire life away to enjoy it at the end in retirement, which I think is something that's not going to really be feasible for most of society. I think it's horse shit. Pardon my language. I truly think it is horse shit. And if you have the opportunity to not have to go to work for an employer, and you tell somebody about it, what your idea is, they are going to tell you, you can't do that. You have to work. You need to just get another job. And if you are working, they'll tell you need another job. You need to work 2 jobs. Like, who the fuck? Who wants to be here? Who wants to be alive? Like, what's the point? The lights just came on. Did you see that? Who wants to endure life just toiling away, having to show up somewhere every freaking day that they decided they're going to make money or manufacture or sell cars or whatever the industry is? Who the hell wants to do that? And if you're one of the people that enjoys that, I'm kind of jealous of you. That if you enjoy that life. But people will tell you can't do that. You need health insurance, you need this, and you need that. And I can't help but go back in time and think, well, what did they do 200 years ago? There wasn't anything called insurance. Hell, I mean, I imagine nowadays people are saying, you can't do that, you need Wi-Fi, you gotta be able to have internet. Like, that might be more important than insurance. I guarantee it is to most teenagers, that's for sure. Anyway, I've kind of lost my track of thought there as I was explaining things in greater detail. But just toiling away, it just seems pointless. Like, why should we even be here? We didn't ask to be here. We didn't say, hey, I want to be born here. And I know it sounds like I'm ungrateful for the gift of life, for the gift of slavery. Yeah, thanks a lot, Mom and Dad. Woohoo! Glad you brought me into this shit. There's no wonder some kids feel entitled that their parents should be obligated to take care of them. I mean, they did bring their ass in here, didn't they? So, take care of me. I can see kids thinking that way. Hell, I was probably one of them that felt like that. Probably didn't even notice it that I did. Honestly, I look forward to the end of this shit. I look forward to either no rent, no bills, a free living society, being able to exist for free 99, or the eternal dirt nap, which, let me tell you about that. for those people out there that think, I'm just gonna take my life. I'm gonna end it all. Let me inspire you with this little tidbit of information. When I was a teenager, my grandfather died. And I was in the basement, sitting on his old metal toolbox, looking through a dresser drawer. The bottom drawer, there were 3 items that I specifically recall. And the first one was a black and white photo of his Navy ship that he served on in World War II. And I remember missing him greatly. And I picked up a little box of matches. You know the wooden ones where you strike them on the side? It was like a red, white, and blue box. And you slide the box out, and then you can strike it on the side, and the match will ignite. It was one of those. I remember picking it up, sliding the box open, looking at it, and I heard, "Jeremy, don't ever play with fire." I looked over to the right, over my shoulder, toward the doorway that separated there was a wall there that separated the 2 different sides of the basement. And I kind of looked at that doorway like, that was odd. That was interesting. Yeah, I slid the box back closed, put it back in the drawer. And then I picked up, my grandfather was chief of police over in Maryland. I believe that's where it was. He had a .38 snub-nose revolver. And I remember picking it up, unsnapping the button on the holster. I think it was a brown leather holster. I slid the gun out, and I heard, "Jeremy, don't ever play with guns." I put that thing away, shut that drawer, jumped up, and looked over my shoulder toward that doorway once again. I felt this chill down my spine. I heard my grandfather in that room with me at that moment. He had been dead like 2 or 3 years. I was terrified at what I was about to see. I thought my mind was playing the joke on me. I thought it was really going crazy. So I crept over to that doorway. And as I looked, I remember I put my hands on that door jamb. And as I looked around the corner, there it was. I described it back then as a cloud of fog drifting through the room. And when it got to the end, to the cedar closet, it disappeared. It went right through the wall. It wasn't the only thing that disappeared. My ass disappeared in the next moment. You could have called me Flash at that moment. I tore up both of my shins. They were bloody. We had these steps with like metal on the edges there, and I tore them up. I was running all 4s going up that steps. And I never told anybody about that. But the key to this story is, I think that's why they say rest in peace. Because there's more to us than what meets the eye. There isn't, if you don't believe in ghosts, you're stupid. Because they're here. They might not be ghosts. It's them. It's your grandfather. It's your grandmother. It's your mom. It's your dad. It could be a child that you lost. It could be President Washington. I don't know. Lincoln. Could be anybody from the past. I don't know how long a spirit can exist after physical death. But the point is, if you take your life, wouldn't you be upset with yourself if you're like, damn, I just can't taste the steak anymore. Aw, baby. I just can't taste the steak anymore. Damn. Well, at least I don't have to go to work. I have no hands to do the work. We live on. My grandfather worried enough to come back and warn me. Freaking got on my ass from the other side. Grandma found a new man that moved into the house not long after that, and Grandpa rested in peace after that point. Never saw him again. I didn't mean to take this story to this dimension here, but yeah. This world, we were not even taught in school. We weren't taught about managing our emotions, our mental health. We weren't taught about finances, how to budget. You know, all we were taught was crap. You know, what's more important? Learning about dead freaking presidents or freaking how to take care of yourself? I thought that this world, I thought we were all in this together. I thought that we cared for each other. That because the fact that I was a human and you were a freaking human, that meant that we were in this together and that we gave two shits about one another and what was best for each other. And I guess we do care about what's best for each other, and we like to argue and try to impose what we think is best on one another in this world. And there are corporations out there and agencies that do this stuff. But I really thought that we looked out for each other. That the government was there to take care of us, to make sure we were okay. It's not like that. All I see around me now is a world that doesn't want you to understand how shit works, that writes up contracts. Think about this. Anytime you're handed a document and you can't understand it, whether it be the Bible, whether it be a legal document, a contract, insurance policies, a rental agreement, like things that have this jargon written up in it. It's old legal, it's old proper jargon. It's horse shit. You know that you are being manipulated or misled, because they know you don't have the time to dig into what it really means, for the actual interpretation. If they wanted you to know, they would write it in terms that make sense. Do you hear what I'm saying? They don't want you to understand what's going on. They don't. And it makes me sick that we're like that. And people endure consequences and financial strain and stuff from this when they have to pay fines and these fees, and they get slapped because they didn't understand how this worked or that worked. It's all poppycock bullshit. I don't mean to be so down, so negative. But think about that. When something's written in such terminology that it's not easily comprehensible, but they want you to sign off on it, and you're responsible for this, upholding your part, it's a bunch of shit. I don't trust law. I don't trust government. Everything just wants control. And I can't help but think that maybe I would become like that if I were in business or something, or making money like that. Profiting off of people's idiocy, ignorance, lack of comprehension of things. What did school really teach us about life? Well, if you want to learn that, guess what? Education's another freaking business. When education is a business, yeah, you can't trust it either. They've monetized everything. Anyway, that's all I got to say right now. Happy 2026. Here's to the future. I don't think I'm very proud to be. I hate to say it. I feel like a fool being American. And you know, I've heard from other people in other videos on other platforms that they lived out abroad and they came back here after a few years. And they were back for about a year or two. And they are telling me that the United States of America is a third world country. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Have a good day.